How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, I am fine. I purposely took some to time off to absorb basically the universe, and I was taking in a lot of information, and I said I would unpack all of it once I speak to the royal family in regards of 4th of July, or I call it 4th of the Lies. And I also wanted to strongly absorb what Farrakhan had to say, which was very deep speech, and I will leave the link there if some people didn't have the pleasure of watching it. And what was on my heart was that I was looking at all the antics that Trump and his cronies were doing on the 4th of July. And I had said to my husband, I said, this is their last hoorah. So they're going to give the appearance that America is standing strong. And appearances can fool you. America is doomed. And I'm doubling down about coronavirus. And many of us know it has spiked more than ever, and it will continue because our Father is speaking from the heavens. There is no doubt. And if we take on the attitude of Esau, we're going right with them because that's their ultimate goal. Many of them know that they are doomed. And so they work overtime and say, well, hell, you're going to go where I go. And we have to continue to stay steadfast and not cave into the enemy's plan. And so I was astounded when I was listening to some of the things that Farrakhan had revealed, and I'll reveal that at the last part because I always say the best for last. But we're going to go a bit of a journey. I'm going to show a few videos. I'll speak in between each one and just absorb what I have pulled up today.
A number of us are vulnerable. Florida, one of the hardest hit states, and Miami, one of the hardest hit cities. And we are joined now by Miami Mayor Francis Suarez. Mayor, good morning. You've got this major outbreak there, and you said it's partially tied to reopening too soon. Right now you're saying to Miamians, stay vigilant. Might you soon say, stay home?
You never know. That's an option that I have never taken off the table. Some would like for us to take it off the table, but it's not an option you can take off the table when you have to look at hospitalization rates, where they're at, where we have to be monitoring the death rate continually. I know all our hospitalization numbers are up. They've been up. Our new case numbers hit a record high this weekend, Saturday, Friday, and I think it's the day before Wednesday. So we had 3 days where we had over 2,000 cases per day, which is 4 times greater than when we instituted a lockdown in late March.
What is your timetable for making a decision about a stay-at-home order? And I ask because a big study came out showing that if New York had issued its order just 2 weeks earlier, thousands of lives may have been saved. So every day that you wait could cost lives. What's your timetable?
It's an incredibly delicate balance, understanding that the stay-at-home order is extremely effective. We were and increasing about 35 cases a day before the stay-at-home order. Once we implemented it, we were able to flatten the curve, and we're decreasing by about 14 cases a day. We're now increasing, at least as of Last Thursday, we're increasing at a rate of 90 cases per day, so almost 3 times faster than we were when we had a stay-at-home order. We're analyzing it every single day. In fact, at 9, I have a call with the Department of Health, which is my usual 9 a.m. morning call with the Department of Health, and then we make some decisions after that.
Governor Ron DeSantis in Florida has said he will not roll back the opening up of business there in the state. You're prepared to break with him on that issue?
Yeah, I don't look at it as a political issue or breaking with him or not breaking with him. I think for me, Miami is unique. We're the densest city in Florida. We were the last one to open. I got some criticism for that, but, from my perspective, I'm looking at the science, I'm looking at the data, I'm consulting with epidemiologists, biostatisticians, and also the Department of Health, and then we're making what we think are the best decisions for our residents. That's how I've made my decisions. I don't try to stay away from the national political landscape or the partisanship of it, because for me, this is about, like you said, saving lives and making decisions that are for the benefit of my residents.
Yeah, but of course your residents hear from you, but they also hear from national political figures and statewide political figures. Your governor has resisted a statewide call for face masks, but one of the decisions you've made is a mandatory face covering rule in Miami. Would you like to see it statewide?
I think it should be statewide. I think, I don't see the downside in making it mandatory statewide. To me, it's no different than forcing people to wear a seatbelt. When you wear a seatbelt, it's a precautionary measure. You're not guaranteed to live when there's a car accident, but you have a much, much higher chance. And so when you're wearing face masks, all the studies I've seen demonstrate that, the face mask will reduce the chance of getting the coronavirus by about 85%. So, for me, it's sort of a no-brainer.
So then the question becomes, should it be federal as well? We heard the president this weekend say 99% of coronavirus cases, in his view, are, quote, totally harmless. Does that line up with what you're seeing in Miami?
No, that doesn't line up. 99% are not totally harmless. I think there are a percentage, and maybe even a large percentage, that are asymptomatic or very, very little symptoms or don't require hospitalization. That's a very high percentage. But that 99% are not problematic or not dangerous. I wouldn't go that far. I think, unfortunately, we're seeing more and more people be hospitalized, younger people be hospitalized. We lost a very young person, very young boy this week, and we also lost a 40-year-old this week. So I think, we have to be very, very careful, and we have to monitor this very closely every single day.
All right, and we'll continue to do it as well. Mayor Francis Suarez of Miami, thank you very much. Rooting for you and for all of Florida.
That is the update in Florida. And what is going on, my royal family, is that Trump and his cronies essentially are defying our Father, pretty much daring our Father that they can dominate. That's the word that Trump used. He's dominating the protesters, and think that they can outfox and dominate coronavirus. And the reason why, if anybody asks, why are you focusing on Florida? Well, I had been saying behind the scenes that I was going to focus on Florida, but I did not predict or say that Florida would be the next that would be hit very hard. But I'm not surprised at all. Not surprised with things that the governor of Florida has done to our folks in the past, and some other things that I'm going to share on that last video that Farrakhan brought up. So you're going to basically call yourself standing toe-to-toe with Yahweh. I'm trying to tell y'all something, if anybody ain't ever experienced it, and even the enemy that come over here and sneak and listen. I have experienced Yahweh's force. I don't have no words for nothing like this. It's nothing that you cannot escape or anything. We know the ones that are faithful and obedient where this is coming from. So there are many people in America showing their arrogance by the sheer numbers. You're not doing your part. So we can't worry about that, my royal family. What we have to worry about, my royal family, is we must continue to do our part, or we will be just as doomed as the others, being defiant. It is what it is, you know. I mean, that's the only way that I can sum that up. And so we're going to listen to a bit of Trump's rhetoric.
Took the podium on the South lawn of the White House Saturday, delivering his second speech this weekend, claiming great progress in the fight against COVID-19. Nicole Killian is at the White House.
President Trump wrapped up the holiday weekend at his Virginia golf course. After back-to-back Independence Day celebrations at Mount Rushmore and the White House.
We are one America, and we put America first.
Speaking before a mostly maskless crowd, the president highlighted his administration's efforts to combat the coronavirus.
We have tested almost 40 million people. By so doing, we show cases, 99% of which are totally harmless.
The commissioner of the Food and Drug Administration pressed on the numbers.
Is the president wrong?
So I'm not going to get into who's right and who's wrong.
So you won't say whether 99% of coronavirus cases are, quote, completely harmless is true or false?
What I'll say is that we have data in the White House task force. Those data show us that this is a serious problem. People need to take it seriously.
The president's claim comes as state and local officials sounded the alarm about surging cases.
We cannot afford to go through hell again. We need a national strategy.
If we don't get our hands around this virus quickly, in about 2 weeks, our hospital system could be in serious trouble.
Even some of Mr. Trump's Republican allies raised concern about his 4th of July event, where some attendees opted not to follow social distancing guidelines.
There should have been face coverings. They should have followed guidelines there. I know that it's a controlled environment.
The FDA commissioner, who is also a member of the coronavirus task force, says it's his understanding that state and local guidelines were followed in South Dakota, and the event here at the White House is different because the president is tested regularly. Major?
Nicole, the president's 2 post-lockdown campaign events were held in states he carried, Oklahoma and Arizona. Now we hear he's going to someplace he lost in 2016.
Well, tonight, the Trump campaign announced that the president will headline a rally in New Hampshire next weekend. Campaign officials say it will be outdoors. They also say there will be ample access to hand sanitizer, and participants will be given masks, which they are strongly encouraged to wear. Major?
Nicole, thank you. The president lost New Hampshire by about a 0.5 percentage point in 2016.
All right. So we heard Trump's usual rhetoric. You know, he's puffed up with pride because that's all that they have left. Again, my royal family, what we are watching is America's last hoorah. Everything is the last for them. The statues are coming down that were symbolic of intimidation towards the royal family and any other people of color that so-called get out of line. This is what we was looking at. So they're going to double down on being patriotic. And the other definition of patriotic is being foolish and not doing your own thinking. Something I have been saying day one on this channel. So that's all they got to hold on to is, their own thinking. And we have all had foolish thinking, and our Father will give us many examples of you should have listened to me, not defy me. So again, this demon here has put America in deeper danger by essentially encouraging to keep the country open. And isn't it ironic that the Republican Party a few short months ago during the impeachment, they were on his side? And I said, death trumps everything. Isn't that ironic? Death trumps everything as people continue to drop dead in the streets of America. People are wailing in the streets of America. People are wailing globally. I've been watching this globally. I needed to step back and really absorb the universe. I'm seeing grown men crying around the world. Grown men I would never, I think, would see to cry in Iraq and all kind of parts of the world. But then there's other parts of the world that he deemed a shithole, and they have a better grasp of this. Isn't it ironic the very countries that they go to and inoculate and poison, that they have a better hold of this? Isn't that ironic, my royal family? Isn't that quite deep? The very countries, they're used to dealing with pandemics. They're used to this stuff. And I have, and I think others have, thought, I'll go out and go blah, blah, blah. But you know, every time I thought that, I wouldn't do it because I said I have to be obedient to our Father. So, the best for last, I'm going to show a snippet of what Farrakhan has to say, and it is something I want to enlighten the royal family with.
African presidents do not take their medications. I say to those of us in America, we need to call a meeting of our skilled virologists, epidemiologists, students of biology and chemistry. And we need to look at not only what they give us, we need to give ourselves something better. So my teacher told me, don't speak for some, speak for the whole. And now I'm speaking for Black America, for Hispanic America, for the Native American, and for those who are desirous of life. They're making money now, plotting to give 7,500,000,000 people a vaccination. Dr. Fauci, Bill Gates and Melinda, you want to depopulate the earth. What the hell gives you that right? Who are you to sit down with your billions and talk about who can live and who should die? That's why your world is coming to an end quickly, because you have sentenced billions to death, but God is now sentencing you to the death that you are sentencing to others.
That speaks for itself. Now, like I said, I will leave the link here. And what astounded me when I was listening to Farrakhan was he said he prayed that coronavirus would spike in Florida. And he said that the governor of Florida will not allow the excellent doctors that they have over in Cuba. And we know how that governor get down, because I've been showing him quite lately. He is Trump's lapdog, literally his lapdog. So, coronavirus is kicking ass globally. but mainly the spotlight has been on America, because all the other countries look to America because they build themselves up in such a way that they are on the cutting edge of everything. And with all your fancy, antiquated technology, with all your fancy books and all your everything, the very thing that you prepared for, you didn't prepare for the smallest thing. The thing that is weightless, odorless, tasteless. Isn't that ironic, my royal family? See, America has arsenal, and they waiting for us to act up. And that's visual. You can see that. You can see that on a big scale. You know, every state in America has their arsenal turned on us. So they were preparing for something big, but they did not look at something that could be so very small, an amoeba, that would actually knock down an entire army. It makes me think about, some of y'all know that I live in chronic pain. And I remember years ago, they had changed up my medication. And they gave me this teeny tiny pill. I mean, it was tiny. A little infant could take it. And I'm thinking to myself, this ain't going to do nothing for me. I might as well stay on the medication that I'm on. They told me to take it, so I said I followed doctor's orders. It knocked me to my knees. I had to get off of it. It was too strong. So that teaches you not to overlook the smallest, minute detail. Be introspective, my royal family. I will focus on things when I'm out and about, and even within. You know, I might be looking at something on TV, on a video, and might not be looking directly at that person and looking back behind the scenes and saying, what's that all about? Or I'm looking at somebody's gestures or their inflections in their voice. See, somebody will say, oh, that ain't big. That ain't, you know, I'm looking for the big stuff. Focus on what's small that can become very big quickly. Isn't it ironic, my royal family? So Farrakhan has spoke. He let the royal family know it will be a long time before we hear from him, because he is deeply back into the word, deeply back into prayer, like we all need to be. So I wanted to start out this morning strong, like I always do, and feeding the royal family some fruits and some of the things that I have observed in the universe, and really taking it all again. So let's not lose sight, my royal family. America, she will never be the same again. And the things that you will see is the last of it. And even though you may see more of it, it's just all in a charade to give the appearance like everything is okay. Everything is not okay in America. So what I need you to do, my royal family, is render your voice with your beautiful divine words. And as always, my royal family, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.